Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys all had a great weekend as well. We got Alan House. Good morning to you. We got Albert, Andrew, Andy. Good morning to David, D, Julie, Jacob. We're rocking with Jay, Jeff, JT. Good morning to Kevin, Lauren, Marius, Martina, Randy, Rock, Wally. All my peeps out of YouTube land. Good morning to all you guys. We got Daniel. We got Ryder. All my silent killers in the background. Good morning to all you guys as well. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell if you can. That would be fantastic. All right. So pretty bullish day. I mean, we didn't hold it all. At the end, we gave a little bit back. We are gapping down slightly, still inside day candle, but that is a pretty phenomenal breakout candle. Looks like all the moving averages still kind of lining up. Pretty bullish in every direction. But let's say we got to come back a little bit. Let's say we pull back a little bit. First little resistance would probably be, or support would probably be about 491 even. To the higher side, I'm looking for 495.05. And right now, currently, we still got 28 minutes till the bell, but we got 492.83. So a little bit smack in the middle of this. Let's see if we have any other pre-market data swings, anything crazy today so far. Not really. Yeah, the low this was 492. And again, even if we get back down to here, it's 492.20. Maybe we get some kind of bounce, but kind of smack in the middle. So I don't know if we have any real edge one way or the other right out of the gate. I would say probably bullish is the direction I want to continue in. I don't think we want to really challenge the bulls yet. So I still want to be more bullish. Again, I'm not just on the overall market at least, and maybe I see some tickers coming in. If you guys got tickers, throw them out there, but we'll take a look. Otherwise, individual names, maybe there's a little bit more edge one way or the other right now for the market as a whole. It's a coin flip. Do we come back and then just rally out of the gate, 495.21? And then what happens at that level? Do we continue? I'd prefer a little bit of a pullback. So I'd prefer a little bit closer to this 491, even into like this 491.25 zone, something down there as a better opportunity to try to attempt to go long. Obviously, we don't know if any of these levels hold or not, but at least that would give me better risk reward to the upside if we do pull back a little bit. So slight little gap down, just kind of chilling for right now. And the direction is still bullish to me. Qs, we got really strong close. We got a VPOC landing at all-time highs. So not just the candle, but the VPOC as well. We got through all of that. What was resistance, that should be support. So we are gapping down slightly on the Qs. We're at 428.63. We're at a little bit of a okay support. Just the fact that there was some candles that closed up there, but nothing too crazy in terms of like real levels of volume to keep it up. I do have my resistance at 429.54, and my first real support would get us down to 425.90. So we do have a little bit more edge, I think, on the Qs to the downside for some kind of a pullback. But otherwise, longer term, I think I think the dips are still getting bought up. We got Boeing and Netflix. We got that from Lauren and Paul G. All right, we'll take a look at that one. First, though, we'll take a look real quick at TLT. This could be a little bit of concern on TLT. So we do have a slight little pullback here, about $1.30, $1.37. Into a little bit of support. This is also a retest gap, so maybe this thing can get bought up at open. Otherwise, again, it's just more difficult, I would say, for a SPY to hold some rallies if TLT doesn't want to cooperate. So that one is down a little bit. And let's see if we can figure out why that's down. Regional banks are still just kind of hanging out. That's a small little gap down. We are below on KRE. We're below that previous VPOC. This is it's an inside day, but it's also a retest. We did retest that. We got some moving averages below us, 47 75. So maybe a little chop out of the gate with a little bit more edge, probably still to the downside on KRE. Let's check out Boeing. Boeing. I'm a little concerned about support down here. So this is a gap and go from Friday. But again, that was all kind of inside day. You probably have a little tiny bit more edge to the bear side. So you have two wicks down here, which means bulls did try to buy it here. They did try to buy it here. So any of those bulls sitting there on Friday, just assuming this was a decent pullback spot, which it probably was. It's probably roughly the 618 retracement somewhere down here where we kind of got bought up off. We're also now gapping below those two VPOCs, and I've got some levels here. So the next one, in terms of support, which again could make it a little tougher trade just in terms of risk reward, but about 202.41. So about $1 to the lower side, $1.60 to the downside. If we think that can get broken, that could be a little bit better of trade. The next support is 201.19, and then we got one right here at 200.41. I would say a little bit more impressive also to the bear side on this one. Let's see if I can remove those. Would take us into the fact that this green gap and go candle is being taken out as well. Not fully, but just the opening price. So we open here. We're still living inside of that little tiny wick down there, but that's probably going to be our resistance. And that's going to be right around, I'd mark it somewhere around 204.78. So let's see if we get it bought up there. Let's see what bought up into that zone. Let's see how we want to react at that zone. But I don't know if it does look weaker for sure. It just, we do have a bit of support down there. So I'd want to be more bearish. I would love to see this thing get bought up a little bit higher. Just come up a little bit higher, and then I think that would be a shot to take a stab at that short. Let's see. The other one we're getting requests for is Netflix and FLX. Netflix. This one's got a little bit more room on it. So I don't have support until 555. So that gives us about 555.96. So really, it gives us about $6 to the downside. We do have some resistance right above us, 563.06, and the next one 565.01. The only thing that we're kind of hoping, so what I would look for on this one, and this is technically a little gap and go. I like this one a little bit better than Boeing, just in terms of ranges. I would love to see a green candle out of the gate on Netflix. Give me like a green candle I could short below. I think that would be decent. The other thing we could look for is maybe some kind of pre-market support and try to play that gap down as well. Like a break of the pre-market support. I don't really have a significant support level. I do have my pre-market VPOC at 562.08. And it looks like, at least for right now, we'll have to see where this thing actually opens, but for right now, we are below that. So look for some kind of retest into 562.08. Again, I would like to see a little bit of buying, just something where I could take a nice little break. I don't really have a great pre-market level here, so I would need that one candle to kind of come in and give me at least some kind of setup on it. But I wouldn't mind going or attempting to go short. In this market, it's tough, but again, 50-50 on the spot. A little bit better risk reward to the short side on Qs. That might not be a bad play to attempt to look out of the gate short. All right, let's see what else we got. LMT. Lockheed Martin. They are down from the highs. Decent amount, $40, $41 down already. This has been a decent amount of selling. Pre-market, nothing too crazy. Still inside day from Friday. The VPOC did close below all the previous. That would take me to probably sticking a little bit more bearish, but we do have support right around 425.82. So essentially, where this thing's holding right now, it is a decent pullback spot. I think momentum for right now is still bearish though. So I think it's tough to go bullish and then to the bearish side until we start maybe breaking Friday's candle. So if we start breaking like 429.05, in that sense, we might get, I don't know if it's full on rally, but probably some kind of buying up into this 436 zone and then maybe coming back, look for a double top or one new lower low. But until that happens, I think today for a day trade, unless we start to break down some of these levels, so we start to break down that 425.97-ish, which is the low of yesterday, the trend is still bearish. So I wouldn't mind attempting bearish trades on Lockheed, but I don't really have too much of an edge. See if the bulls want to support there. And then in terms of day trades, maybe we get back up to like that 430 level. Let's see what else we got. We got through most of the earnings on last week. We do have some other earnings. I think Palantir is gonna be a fun one to watch. That one usually gets a decent move after earnings today. But the next real big one that I could see coming out is probably Netflix, and I think that's the 21st. Not Netflix, Nvidia. Lilly. Try to find the ticker for this one. Eli Lilly. There we go. LLY. They got a fun little gap up. All-time highs. All-time high gap up on Eli Lilly. This would be our second bullish day in a row. So this is we've had 2 bullish days and we're gapping to all-time highs. Is this on earnings? Unless they had it before the bell. So they only have earnings tomorrow. Tomorrow before the bell rings. What is their news? How to earn $500 a month from Eli Lilly stocks ahead of earnings. Okay. There's a paycheck for you. I'd especially that earnings of tomorrow morning. I kind of like this one for the fade. I'm going to move this one up higher. Maybe we could take something on that one for a fade lower. We legitimately have every single person ever profitable on Eli Lilly with this gap up ahead of what could change things significantly. And I don't follow the company as much, but if they put out weaker forecasts, they miss on numbers, they got a high level to beat. I would probably, if it was me in this position, I would probably take some shares off the table. And even if everybody takes a little off, that would probably be a good fade. So wouldn't mind looking for that one for the fade. Let's see. We got Microsoft, MSFT. Microsoft still looks bullish. We're going to have to deal with maybe a little bit I don't think it's much, but a little bit of resistance probably around 412.15. That's just essentially the opening price from that one candle. We did get pushed down one other time. Everything right now is still looking, the trend is definitely bullish. So that's the direction I want to be in. And that was a relatively decent close. Getting above, I mean, this is obviously a bearish reversal. We have tons of volume in there. We ended up closing through most of it. Not quite out of that wick yet, but I wouldn't mind continuation bullish on Microsoft or continue to look to buy the dips if this thing wants to fade it open, maybe down into like this 408, 406, 408, 46 zone. That might be an interesting spot. ALB. Yeah, so I did see ALB gapping down for a decent support. This one I would assume 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. At least look for the retest on this one. We have this one in the 10K position, which is kind of holding it. I was thinking about doing something with maybe either selling some calls against it or buying some protective puts. separately than the 10K account. I haven't done anything yet, but we'll see where this one wants to close. This one I think should be some kind of a retest. That is a pretty big support. I think Win said they have a 12% short float as of Friday, so the short float kind of jumped up a little bit. But their earnings are coming out soon. So their earnings are the 14th. What's that? Next week. Things could change very quickly, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, valuation long term, I don't necessarily care that we so like in a longer term basis for kind of the style of play it is. I don't necessarily care that it comes down and breaks supports, and that's all that typically means to me is we might have to hang in for longer than we might want to, but otherwise valuation wise is not bad. And again, earnings are next week. I have not added it to the long-term portfolio yet. Still kind of just waiting to see how the interactions go, and maybe you have to wait through this earnings. And I'm thinking if we're already in this thing for the 10K, this is just my brief strategy on this one of what I'm thinking. But I know the valuation is still good down here, so I'm not really concerned at all. The earnings play though, so next week, and this is why I'm kind of holding off, because we already have positions. So if they come out and earnings are good, the market starts to like it. It is what it is. We're good. We hit targets. If not, and we get a drop after earnings, I think that's when I'm going to start to buy for the long term. So, I might be patient for another week and then try to figure out some kind of moves. But ahead of earnings, we could look to sell calls. We could look to maybe buy some puts if you want to as well. But there's some ways to work around it right now in terms of options go. Tesla for George. TSLA. Been doing nothing for 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically 7 days. We're still in that gap down earnings. We are starting to hold, build out a little bit of support. It is just trading sideways at this point. On a day trade basis, really zero edge. So nothing too crazy yet. Look for support maybe around this 183.94. See if that one wants to hold. But it is pretty much gapping down to the opening price of Friday as well. And obviously, we kind of did rally and looking for support or resistance somewhere around 187.43. So not a huge range right now, but I like the fact that we are trading sideways. Eventually, this will break. Whether it's to the higher side or to the lower side, that I can't tell you. But the longer we hang out here, the much bigger that either drop or pop will be. So continue to watch it. Otherwise, we're just in a range trading wise. Again, if you're just focused on one stock and that stock happens to be Tesla, it can get a little tough, because there's just zero edge right now on Tesla until news comes out, or maybe have to sit through 3 months of earnings. I'm not sure what the catalyst is that's going to make this thing move, but just chilling for right now. Lucian says expectations are low, so it might beat it. Yeah, hopefully. Like I said, we're already in it for the 10K. So if it does beat, and I was thinking about doing maybe selling some calls or something, and I don't know. We have some time to figure out ALB, but I don't mind if it comes lower, because I wouldn't mind putting some long-term positions on it. And if that catalyst is if they miss and all the shorts start to win, I have no problem buying it for the long term. So I have no problem buying it for the long term where we got it. And I'm just seeing if I can get a little greedier on it. Boeing, did I look at this one yet? Forget. Yep. Yeah, so Boeing's a gap and go from Friday, but really we're still kind of playing this candle, which was a little bit of a retest. I don't mind this one to the downside. If I have to trade it, I'm gonna look to go short. Do they have news come out? Another side panel blew off. Let's see. Oh, good. 737 has a new problem. I mean, I couldn't honestly say I didn't see that coming. I just didn't know. They're gonna have a problem. You just don't know what the problem's gonna be. I think that's essentially the mentality for Boeing. Boeing stops problem with the 730. The fuselages. hmm That's what I was gonna say is probably the fuselages, and we'll have to delay delivery of 50 plane. Just bad news after bad news for these guys. But yeah, just in terms of the technicals, it's got a little support below us. We'll see if any of those holds. But yeah, I do like it a little bit. I want again, it's very similar to Netflix. Give me some kind of like green candle out of the gate, something I can go short on. But that's not the news I want to go bullish on. Bolts missing in 50 planes. Now we got it's the good old fuselages back. Uh-huh. Just when you thought the bolts were a problem, they didn't even look at the fuselages. Uh, that's just a fun word to say, I think. We got Apple. Pretty nice bounce off that 200 on Friday. Everything tech is still by the dip. I don't think anything's changed with AI stories. Um, we do have a resistance on this one, 187.92. Again, out of all the tech though, anything chip related, Nvidia was gapping up like $20 after hours, or pre-market, but uh Apple hasn't been the strongest one. I mean, you got better returns on AMD, you got better returns on Nvidia. Apple and Tesla out of the Magnificent Seven haven't been that magnificent. So Apple is a little bit of a retest gap. I do see resistance probably about 182.92. So if you want to try it bullish, which right now this could be capitulation, right? We got a pretty decent gap down. People, I would say, a little bit more terrified if you're in the long direction. Even if you're profitable, you're like, well, maybe I just cut my losses here. It's not been. All I do is see headlines from it, how much people in Nvidia make. I'm not making that. Something must be wrong with Apple. We got through the earnings; they were not great comparative to what was expected, at least. But we got that huge volume, and that was a good close. So I would see if we get a mini retest on this one, and see if we could probably end up buying this thing more bullish. Stay with that direction on it. Until this gets taken out, this candle right here, with that volume, that's our next big move lower. And if we could hold this one with that volume, that would look decent. I think they're planning to put a cockpit in the rear of the plane. Well, maybe they shouldn't be focused on doing tricks yet, but they should have parachutes on the plane. That's what I think. The whole plane should have one big parachute that comes out just in case. Divvies on Friday for Apple. Ex dividend date. Got you. I don't think people buy Apple for the dividend though. It's such a low percentage. Like something like MO, you get higher divvies. So you get a little bit more action around ex dividend date than you probably would on Apple. Yep. Let's take a look real quick at Nvidia. The high of this candle, 666. So a little Beelzebub. But yep, we do have a we got a little Satan in on Nvidia, but the high of the candle was 666 to the penny. People were saying that was the sign. That was it for Nvidia. But a little bit of a gap up here again, big massive retests. Qs don't look as strong today, but I still want to be bullish on everything. This could be definitely a fadeable gap with a lot of room on it. So I will boost up Nvidia. It's going to be a tough short. I don't like to short it, but I can't play it long up there either. And then we got AMD for maybe a sympathy. So I got resistance on AMD 140, 180.49, and then support probably down to 178.25. So right now, I think you do have a little bit more advantage to the bearish side, but I would want this thing to get bought up at open. Iron Maiden. We got EL. Did we do? Oh no. So Estee Lauder. When's their earnings come out? So their earnings came out this morning. Looks like a strong beat. 63% to the surprise side on earnings per share. They got 2% beat, which is 86 million surprise on rev. Major gap up. Solid $24 to the higher side. Clearing a lot of pivots. We do have one lonely moving average of 200s right here. This is probably going to be more of a fade, I think. Let's see if we get a little bit more buying. It's like this 161. Did we even hit that one pre-market? We might have. I need this thing to go a little bit higher. If this thing goes a little bit higher to try to play this fade, otherwise, that 200 is scary. That's about it. That 200 wasn't there. I would be probably just flipping that going long, but really nice beat. Elf is reporting. Elf is good sympathy. Yep. So Elf is probably getting a good gap. They do report tomorrow. Tomorrow after the bell rings. And this one might be that sympathy play ahead of earnings. This one I would like to see a little bit more of a pullback on. So maybe if Estee Lauder starts to fade, Elf will probably start to fade too. But even longer term, this is not a. I don't know. I don't know if I like the price of it here, but it's got room to grow. Earnings have been really, really good on Elf for quite some time. I think they had one miss. Man, that was. I thought the company was over then. That was it. Otherwise, all beats on everything. Very, very strong company. Good for the long term. Just got to get the right pricing on it. So need a little bit better of a pullback on this thing if we get it. Otherwise, for day trade wise, I wouldn't mind trying to sit there, see if we can get. In fact, let me get this on the other screen too. This would be a fun little sympathy just ahead of earnings. ELF. That might be a fun play. Yeah, the PE is only 79, but it's makeup. Can't argue with the numbers. Just Walmart. There's another good gap up for the store that only sells walls, which is nice. That one looks like a fun one out of the gate to go bullish on. I'm actually going to throw that one much higher on the list. I would like to see a little bit. This is a great candidate for the little sell-off at open into probably 170.06. Something that we could take a break on. But I like that one a lot. TGT. Not getting the same response yet as Walmart. But it is opening pretty much at support. You might have Walmart being able to help bring that up higher. I don't really see any real resistance. Probably this 147. I like Walmart a little bit better than Target for today. This one's not as you're still inside day on this one. CTLT. CTLT. I don't think I know what that is. Catalent. Do they make fuselages? I think this is this company makes fuselages. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, watch the volume on this one. Volume might be a little bit lower. Otherwise, looks like their earnings are coming out very, very soon. Friday. So we have a couple days until that. You're starting to hit into some resistance up here. 61.92. So see if this one wants to come higher. But that is the opening bell. You guys are absolutely incredible in YouTube land. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Otherwise, be safe. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.